to I hate that
During all
man.
of his appearances,
Genuinely.
he became one of the most hated figures in the game's history. But what if I told you that his actions might be excusable? What if Shepard went through some insane
Shepard and
events that
Shadow
put him in
Company.
this position? And what exactly was it that made him the #1 most hated man in Call of Duty? To understand where it all went wrong for Shepard, we need to go back to 2009 during the campaign of Modern Warfare 2, where he was still a respected and ambitious Supreme Commander. At this time, we don't know much about the mysterious Shepard or his backstory, but we do get a hint into his personality in one of the opening scenes, and this provides a massive clue to where it all starts to go wrong for General Shepard.
We fought and bled alongside the Russians. We should have known they'd hate us for it. History is written by the victor. And here I am thinking we'd won. But you bring down one enemy and they find someone even worse to replace him. Locations change. The rationale, the objective. Yesterday's enemies are today's recruits. Train them to fight alongside you and pray they don't eventually decide to hate you for it too.
Now let me rewind to this part.
History is written by the victor. And here I am thinking we'd won.
This quote that we hear shows that Shepard's story hasn't started in this Modern Warfare. He has a point to prove. A chip on his shoulder, you could say. So why is winning everything for Shepard? To understand this, we need to explore deeper into the campaign.
We got to.
See Shepard
Let me hear it.
introduced with the role of leading the new Task Force 141, a global special operations unit who become a key part in the series. We also have some of our favorites introduced, like Captain Price, Ghost, and Roach, who we all grow to love until this day. And during this time, Shepard is seen as a person of authority who is a respected commander and has the trust of all of his men. These men took his word for gold and trusted him to lead Operation Kingfish. They trusted him like you trust a teacher to teach or a pilot to fly a plane. No one was doubting him at this time. But little did we know, Operation Kingfish would ultimately lead to his downfall, and would be what ultimately crowns him to be one of, if not the most hated man in Call of Duty's history. But first, to understand this, we need to understand who the mysterious Kingfish is, and that's Vladimir Makarov.
This man, Makarov, is fighting his own war and he has no rules, no boundaries. He doesn't flinch at torture, human trafficking, or genocide. He's not loyal to a flag or a country or any set of ideals. He trades blood for money. He's your new best friend. You don't want to know what it's cost already to put you next to him. It will cost you a piece of yourself.
We see Makarov introduced at this point, early into the campaign. He's the villain in the franchise who we've all grown to hate with a passion. But some could argue that Shepard is worse than Makarov. So why is Makarov so crucial to Shepard's downfall? And was it all Makarov's fault? Actually, part of it was. So, how, you're probably asking? This quote he says here shows the lengths Shepard is willing to go to.
I want to know what it's cost already to put you next to him. It will cost you a piece of yourself.
To give a piece of yourself to your job is a big statement and a huge commitment. And I don't know how many people would be willing to do that personally. Do you? But
Definitely not me.
Shepard does mean something else by this quote. And by this point in the campaign, we understand him to be a trustworthy general. So what is this piece of himself that he's willing to give away? Well, that's his loyalty. Now, you're probably thinking I'm referring to this iconic moment in the campaign which shocked everyone. I think I even shed a tear when this happened originally back in 2009.
Hate that boy Shepard, man. I don't know how much I gotta express it.
That's one less loose end.
This was the turning point for Shepard. And if you're wondering how to make 99% of people hate you,
yeah, we gotta
this is it. But what I'm about to tell you will change everything
too, bro,
and could make why he did it excusable.
We're gonna have to go
His
back some
betrayal actually
stories.
started way earlier in the campaign. Remember the new enemy, Makarov, aka Operation Kingfish? Well, the person who Shepard hired as an integral part of the mission was Allen. Shepard first notices US Army Ranger Joseph Allen in Afghanistan in the 1st Battalion.
Get up, Private Allen! Rangers lead the way!
The Army Army Rangers are a specialized elite American special operations force. But what Alan didn't know before agreeing to become a secret operative, that this was actually going to become a suicide mission.
So how do I look?
Like one of the bad guys. Perfect for your undercover assignment.
So Makarov is the prize.
Makarov's no prize. He's a whore, a mad dog killer for the highest bidder. Just remember your new identity. It'll keep you alive.
And this changed everything. At this point, the Kingfish Special Ops team, like Soap, Price, and Ghost, are blissfully unaware of Alan or the secret mission. And we begin to see the cracks in Shepard's character.
Oh,
he's
what
no
the
longer
fuck?
the trustworthy Shepard that we saw earlier on. Instead, we begin to see the manipulative, deceptive, and untrustworthy general. And it all starts with this. When Alan is sent to be undercover at Kiev International Airport, he is sent to work with the enemy, Makarov. This resulted in him actually involved in the terrorist attack on Kiev International Airport in Russia. Something unforgivable, and his team on Task Force 141 are unaware. Which little did Special Ops Alan know this was going to be a suicide mission, because Makarov becomes aware of his hidden identity as a CIA agent and kills him before fleeing. But not only that, Makarov is smarter than he looks. He staged the scene to make this look like it was America's doing. Not only did he leave Alan, an American, dead at the scene, he also left NATO's weapons, which shifts the whole story and the importance of Shepard in the campaign even greater.
And Makarov turned the U.S. into his scapegoat. Next thing you know, there's flames everywhere.
As not only did
That's fucking
Shepard lose
crazy.
one of his
What
men,
the fuck?
Russia started an attack on America with President Boris Vershevsky ordering a full-scale invasion. And the story is far from over yet, as Shepard is the one at fault for starting all of this. But this wasn't by mistake. It's actually far more sinister than that. It was pre-planned by Shepard, as he knew this would be the response. He's a General Shepard leading the Special Ops team, so he's a smart guy, right? Then why would someone so set on victory for their country do this deliberately?
Sure, it matters who's got the biggest stick, but it matters a hell of a lot more who's swinging it. This is a time for heroes, a time for legends. History is written by the victors. Let's get to work.
He literally says, this is a time for heroes, a time for legends. Bingo. The war he started on Russia is his time to shine, to become a legend, the hero of America. And we clearly see that he is willing to go to any length for this. Heck, we even mentioned this earlier, to give a part of yourself. And we see the power Shepard has now when we see Russia evade America. But remember, he is still trusted by the government and his own men at this point. He's even rewarded for his efforts by being given a massive budget to continue his hunt for Makarov, along with 3.5 million troops, the mightiest force on the planet. And he could have stopped Makarov sooner, but he didn't. So why? Well, let's explore.
What the fuck? 3.5
Too
million
long,
soldiers?
Price. Focus on taking out Makarov.
No time, sir. We need to end this war today.
I'm not asking you, Price. This is an order. You're to...
Price states that the war needs to end today, but Shepard doesn't want it to. He needs more power. What has made Shepard want so much power that he's willing to risk more of his own men? We've already seen Alan be sacrificed. Now more men are going to die. But all we know at this stage is that he's willing to do whatever it takes. Shepard clearly wants a powerful army, as taking out Makarov isn't the only motive. It seems like this is more of an ego trip for Shepard. He needs the world to see him as this powerful man, which I can understand. Every now and again, we all get an ego about something, right? Maybe not to rule the largest army in America, but you know, clearly something has happened to Shepard to make him feel like he has this point to prove to the world.
Damn.
He's had his massive success in his career and getting to the rank he is now, but he needs more. And by not allowing Price to hold everything there was a huge mistake. And a lot happened after this. Disaster strikes onto Washington. While Shepard was so busy leading the American army against the invasion from Russia, Price hijacked a Russian submarine. This was against Shepard's orders. Shepard wanted his pure focus on Makarov. And from my guess, it's because Alan was a dirty secret which started all this in the first place. And it lives on with Makarov. Shepard obviously can't have this come to light, but from Price no longer trusting Shepard and setting off the warhead into space, this destroys the International Space Station. It does, however, spare Washington from a direct hit, but it still absolutely destroyed the capital in some of the most shocking cutscenes in the story.
Bye. We may have a problem here. Houston, this is ISS control.
This gives me chills. And the fact that this all could have been prevented, well, it's too late for that now. But it does give Shepard that ultimate thing that he's been longing for. A blank check. And in other words, power. His dreams are becoming a reality. He's even trying to justify it to himself.
Despite what the world may say, we are not savages. We don't kill civilians. We use precision. There's an evil man hiding in these shadows, and we're gonna bring him into the light. Once his face is revealed, we will write history, gentlemen.
Now, you're probably wondering, how does this add to Shepard becoming the most hated man in Call of Duty? Well, we've already seen him deceive his team. His greed for more power has led to more bloodshed, and even a member of his team being murdered, which could have been prevented. And the fact that it's this crazy, it gets even worse, which begins with the manhunt for Makarov. Roach and Ghost are tasked by Shepard to the safe house in the Georgian-Russian border. And he sends Price and Soap to search the boneyard, which keeps them separated, which is absolutely key for what is about to happen next. Now, all of Shepard's beloved Task Force 141 are on the mission to hunt Makarov, this being somewhat a success as they found the DSM. And little did they know at this time, but this was also about to change everything. Not only did the DSM have critical information on Makarov, it also had information pinning Shepard. This is why he was so set on setting all of Task Force 141 efforts on finding the missing piece to his puzzle. Why Makarov was the main mission to hunt down. And Shepard still saw this as his war. And his men were getting suspicious. Why was Makarov so important?
We'll cut off all avenues of escape. This ends now.
Strange. Could have sworn we ended this war yesterday.
His personal war and vendetta against Makarov would have not only ruined his image of the war hero he so badly wanted, it actually goes way deeper than that. As the truth of the evidence tampering, the corruption, and his war crimes would have become public knowledge. His involvement of sending Alan to Kiev airport would have come to light. So no more mighty Shepard. So when we do see Shepard herding his sheep to the safe house, little do they know that this mission was going to be their last. Roach and Ghost successfully retrieved the DSM, but the thanks they got wasn't what you'd expect. There wasn't a pat on the back, not even a thank you. Instead, it goes down as one of the coldest, cruelest moments in Call of Duty history.
That's one less loose end.
No!
Damn. Hate Shepard, bro. Ghost! Ghost!
Damn, this bit hits me so hard, even 50 years later. People at this time still actually come up with their own theories. Theories to try and make themselves believe that there was a chance that Roach and Ghost would still be alive somehow. Not only does Shepard coldly murder two
I did watch some theories too. I ain't even gonna lie, chat. I did watch some theories back then.
It's way worse than that, as the backstory of Ghost, which we'll explore further in another video, makes this cut even harder, as Shepard was actually the one to rescue him from Mexico, in which he lived a troubled life. At the risk of being killed, all of his family were already murdered, which Shepard knew all of this. So, not only to coldly murder him as this wasn't enough, but to then throw a cigar on his body is the ultimate disrespect. But this is where the story shifts, as who in their right mind would even do that? Well, we've all seen General Shepard change throughout the campaign, from being a respected general leading the war in America. But he was a busy man and loved his secrets, as he was also busy leading a new secret elite covert unit, Shadow Company. Task Force 141 were clueless about Shepard's secret military contractors. And so they should be, as little did they know they had a new enemy to fear, and that's their own leader and Shadow Company. As Shadow Company are incredibly loyal to Shepard, and Shepard still couldn't have any loose ends, which he still had, who were Price and Soap. So to have Shadow Company ready at his disposal, this would have took some planning to get this in place. Remember, this wasn't just an overnight thing. And to understand this, we need to go back to 2007 in Call of Duty 4, as this is the turning point which would change General Shepard's life forever, as this made Shepard so set on
I played so many other Call of Duties, bro. Like, I played Call of Duty
in history.
All of it. Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 4, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. I played all them shits.
So you're probably wondering where Shepard was in all this. He was the one in command when the nuke hit. This absolutely destroyed him mentally, and he keeps this wound up inside of him until he finally cracks. He'd done a lot of unforgivable stuff up until this point, and now betraying his men on Task Force 141, tampering with evidence to cover his own back, and brutally killing Ghost and Roach. However, now understanding this was all because of his tragic incident that he witnessed firsthand, I feel like this would have turned anyone to insanity. And we find out at this moment how deeply this has impacted Shepard.
Years ago, I lost 30,000 men in the blink of an eye. And the world just fucking watched.
So not only does 30,000 of his men die, he had to witness all of it, which is deeply heartbreaking for General Shepard. And to make it even worse, he blames himself for this. This would change everything for Shepard going forward. His life was now stacked with guilt. He had a massive point to prove, and he would go to his deathbed trying, as he still had two loose ends which could destroy the image that he had worked so hard for. Those loose ends we know are Soap and Price, as they managed to get away from Shepard's ambush and escape. This wouldn't stop Shepard or his loyal Shadow Company though, which led to this fatal moment which would change the course of history.
Shortage of volunteers, no shortage of patriots. I know you understand.
Price and Soap win. Shepard is eliminated, and they flee the scene, leaving Shepard's body to rot in the desert. And Shepard's story ends there for Modern Warfare 2. But there's still one thing unanswered.
Fuck Shepard, bro.
Excusable. Well, in the Modern Warfare 2 story, they were. Shepard was laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery and declared a war hero, whilst Price and Soap were declared war criminals for murdering Shepard at the time. But the COD fanbase thought different, and Shepard was declared one of the most ruthless villains of all time, much due to the love for the people in Task Force 141 who Shepard betrayed. But if you had lost 30,000 men in your command, would you do the same? How that must have messed up Shepard mentally and drove him to insanity. And don't get me wrong, what he did to his men is unspeakable, but should he have been allowed to be even in that position? What help did he get given after this had happened? Nothing. He was to command and got promoted to lead the fight against Makarov and given a blank check to do as he pleases. All the power in the world. Having that much power and being clearly unwell would ultimately lead to his tragic death. But his secrets didn't come out, and he did die the hero he so truly wanted to be. And the one last thing Shepard would have truly wanted is for you to subscribe so you can watch the next video exploring COD's villains and heroes.
Ew. I'm a sub. That shit is actually tough, bro. But I appreciate that, boy, Johnny.